Hi, and welcome back. There's an expression that it's better to worry about Yenim's Gashmias and your Ruchnias. Instead of worrying so much how frum the other guy is and worrying about your money, you should worry about the other guy's money and how frum you are. We're going to see in our next mitzvah how concerned you need to be about somebody else's property. The old expression, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, certainly does not apply. Let's take a look inside. Positive commandment, I should say, number 69. It is a positive commandment to return something lost to a member of Jewry. As scripture says, you shall surely bring them back to your brother. If one turned a blind eye to it, he disobeys a positive commandment and violates a negative one, which we'll see in another half a year or so. If he took the lost object and did not return it, he also disobeyed this positive commandment and violated two prohibitions. So we're definitely dealing with something very serious here. Positive commandment, three negative commandments. It is a religious duty to return a lost object even to a wicked person. But if someone eats carcasses out of spite or defiance, or he violates the Sabbath openly, which doesn't mean in public, it means you do it in the face of people who are Sabbath observants, such a person is a heretic, and it's forbidden to return a lost object to him. Okay, we'll talk about this in detail. If a person finds something with which it would be beneath his dignity to bother, and were it his own, he would not trouble himself with it, he has no duty to bother with it. If, however, he wishes to act beyond the strict letter of the law, he may do so, and may blessing come upon him. Now, Rabbeinu Yonah, famous rabbi, wrote, if it is a religious duty to devote effort to rescue another person's item of monetary value, how much more certainly must we expend effort to rescue him himself, to do something to save him in his time of distress. It is enforced everywhere at every time for both man and woman. Let me immediately address the statement about people who eat non-kosher meat out of spite or defiance or violate the Sabbath openly. Okay. That means that it's being done out of defiance. It's not being done because of economic reasons. It's not being done because you like non-kosher meat better. It's done because you basically want to say, I eat treif. The heck with Judaism, I eat treif. Same thing with Shabbos observance. A person is not considered a heretic for not observing Shabbos. A person is considered a heretic for walking down the street in a frum neighborhood, smoking a cigarette on Shabbos and thumbing their noses at everyone and saying, ha ha, Shabbos. It doesn't include driving your car down the block in a frum neighborhood and parking quietly without making any sort of fanfare, and clearly not trying to be disrespectful to your neighbors. So let's eliminate right away this idea that this doesn't apply to, Jews who choose to drive on Shabbos, or Jews who are lenient with their kosher observance. It's only when it's out of spite. It's known as a mumar lahachis, somebody who is a heretic. Lahachis is to make other people angry. You put it in their face. Okay, having said that, what we have here is a mitzvah which requires us to return lost items. If we see a lost item, we should make effort to recover that lost item. Now, it has been mentioned that if for some reason it's an insignificant item and it's beneath one's dignity to go get the item, like it's in a mud puddle and you have to get your shoes dirty, and then you're going to be walking around, you're going to come back to shul, or you're going to go to work, and you can't be walking around with mud puddle boots just to save, the guy's 25-cent Bic pen. I wonder if they still cost 25 cents. Anyway, but other than that, you have to make an effort. You have to bring it into your home, and you have to hold on to it, and you have to try to return the item. This is a tremendous, tremendous mitzvah. It's such a significant mitzvah that failing to do so violates three commandments. It's not just the neglect of not returning it, but there are three commandments that are violated because you didn't do it. We're very, very concerned about the property of other people, because when we're concerned about the property of other people and we respect their property, it's indicative of the fact that we respect them. Right? There's a reason why disrespect of property shows disrespect in general and causes a general breakdown in societal order. Right? They found that from graffiti right? If you wash away the graffiti right away and you don't leave it there, it doesn't really have any effect. But if you leave it there, then the behaviors follow the graffiti, if you will. So showing respect for one's property, another person's property, is showing respect for the other person. And it maintains the way that we behave in society. This is certainly something that we have to be very, very careful about. The opportunities do come to us from time to time. We do find lost items and we try to return them. I still have a sitter that I found about 15 years ago. I can't seem to track down the owner, but I'm trying. Why? Because that's respectful and it matters to people sometimes. And you never know what the sentimental value of a particular item is for a person. So simply dismissing it as, oh, who cares? The other person might care very much, and we should be more concerned about other people's property and less concerned about their religiosity. I think the world would be a better place. Okay, next time, it is a positive commandment to unload from the domestic animal of one's fellow man that is lying under the burden. We're going to have an opportunity to talk about, amongst other things, tsar balei chayim, not inflicting or relieving discomfort, pain, and distress from animals. Okay, thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon.